Good morning and welcome to this week's midweek thought. It's very good to be with you today. On Monday, I came off my bike. I hit something on a bike path and it took me out, basically. And I was thrown off the bike and I ended up, fortunately not breaking anything, but I had quite a lot what I describe as road rash. That's where you've basically been scraped on the tarmac. That was at the end of a bike path near a road, and interestingly, three people didn't see the accident, but saw me standing there. My bike was on the path. It was splayed all over the place, and I was standing there, and my hands were bleeding, and my arm was bleeding, and none of them stopped to ask how I was. Two, I suppose, were older teenagers coming back from school, and maybe I can excuse them because you shouldn't be talking to strangers. But the third, a man just looked at me and then just walked on. Something similar happened to me about 2 or 3 years ago when I came off my bike and I was on the road, and cars just drove by. They didn't bother to stop. They just let me. They just drove past as I actually lay on the road. Maybe it's a sign of the times, but I don't think so, because it reminded me of the parable that Jesus talked about being a good neighbor, and the parable he tells is the Good Samaritan, of course. The man in question was beaten up and left for dead on a road by robbers, and three people pass by. The first is a priest, and he looks at the man and he walks on the other side. The second is a Levite, a high-ranking official. He looks at the man and he walked on the other side as well. But the third man, a man from Samaria, stops, and he takes the man and he takes him to an inn and he pays for his treatment so he can recover. Now, Samaria and Israel and Judah, let's say, didn't get on. They were old-time enemies. And when Jesus asked the disciples around him who was the good neighbor, and of course they all said the Samaritan man, and of course that was true. He was the man who stopped by and helped the man in distress. Being a good neighbor is very important, and who is my neighbor? And really, the purpose of Jesus' story is that everyone is your neighbor. And that person could just be someone in your office, could be someone you know in your actual neighborhood. It could be someone you bump into. It can be people at the other side of the world. And in a day of high technology, we see a lot of need out there, and there's a lot of concern. So today, I hope each one of us wouldn't walk by when we see someone in distress, and may we take that parable to heart. Who is our neighbor? I hope you have a good week. Take care. Bye.